This is Schmier from Destruction, and you're listening to Metal Nation Radio, thrash till death.
Schirmer, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. You must be very happy because after so many years, Destruction has been there for 3 decades, and finally you are coming to India. A confirmed offer for Destruction, finally.
Yeah, we've been talking in the last years a couple of times to different promoters, and stuff was like almost confirmed, but then the money didn't get over, the flights didn't get booked. So yeah, finally it happens. It's great.
Wonderful. Now, I need to know, what are your expectations from your first gig in India?
Now we've been touring the world all over the place, so we have a lot of funky experiences. So we like the new challenges and find out new market and meet our fans in more exotic countries also. So it's going to be, a new exciting experience for us to play in India for the first time. I mean, we've been playing in Malaysia and Singapore and stuff, but it's not the same, So I think it's going to be very interesting. Of course, we expect a wild audience, because it's the first time. So hopefully the Indian metalheads, gonna freak out and give us a great welcome.
Absolutely. Now with you on bill, you have your friends Rotting Christ as well. So I don't know whether you guys have toured before, but this seems like a perfect package, Destruction and Rotting Christ.
Yeah, they're great guys. I mean, we played with them before on several festivals, and they're very nice guys, like very professional band. Like, I like bands that have their own style, and Rotting Christ really does their own thing. They have their distinctive sound, and they're doing it for a long time or also now. So I have a lot of respect for the band, and it's great to see them again, because I didn't see them since a while, as our schedules, go all over the place. We don't meet so many times all over the world. So it's great to meet in India again. That's fantastic.
Amazing. So any research done by you or the other guys about the Indian scene? I mean, are you aware of the metal scene here in India?
Yes, I mean, I've been reading some articles. There was some stuff on German TV. Like, we have the second channel here has like a kind of a neo channel. It's like kind of they do more like reports and musical stuff, and they made like a report about the Indian metal scene. Mm-hmm. And they were at Bangalore Open Air, and they showed that the scene is still very small, but it's growing, and there's a lot of young bands coming, and also a lot of bands are trying to put some traditional influence into the music,
right?
Which is very interesting. I think that's the only way to do it. The way to get your own sound is create your own sound and just not follow. I think that's very interesting. So yeah, it was interesting also to see that for women, the metal scene is also part of freedom, because they get more accepted and stuff. So I think it's very interesting.
That's amazing. Now, you've been there for 3 decades. I mean, you've seen it all from 80s, 90s, and 2000s. What do you think has changed in Destruction? What atmosphere do you think has changed in Destruction from last 3 decades?
At the beginning, you're young and wild, and you have to learn a lot, right. But you're very euphoric, and then that keeps you very enthusiastic for a while. We had our period when the band split up and the guys were going without me, and there was some years of difficulties.
Right.
So when the band came back together 15 years ago, it was a fantastic feeling, and also the feeling that the fans were still supporting us so good. And since then, in the last 15 years, we did several world tours and played crazy places where nobody else goes. And so I think now we appreciate a lot what we have achieved. And when I'm at a crazy place at the end of the world where I never thought there would be metalheads, I'm really, I really have to smile and tell myself, man, are you dreaming? Is this fucking real? Because it's
Right.
31 years later now, and we're still around, and we developed and traveled all those places. I mean, I would have never been in the position to see the world like this, and that's, I think, the greatest achievement for me for my life with the band.
Absolutely. Since we're talking about how your journey has been, you are a touring musician from so many years. Do you think, looking at your career, do you think being a touring musician has satisfied your creativity level, or there are some other fields which you probably might look forward to?
I mean, I owned a restaurant for many years also, so I was working in the restaurant business for many years. I love cooking. I love good food, good drinks. That's also my second big love. That's but for this decade now, I gave up with all that stuff because we're playing so much. We're playing every month all over the planet, and it keeps us busy. So I had to shut down my restaurant in 2004.
Hmm.
But who knows? Maybe one day when we're taking it a little more easy, I'm gonna come back to restaurant business and something. I like it. It's been an important part of my life, an important learning process also about a lot of things, and I really like it. But who knows? I mean, I would like to continue with music as long as possible, and I'm also having a second project again at the moment with the two guys from Accept, and we're having a new album coming out in November. It's called Panzer.
Wow.
So it's more traditional heavy metal, like
Hmm.
traditional heavy metal with a little speed metal influence. So I think it's going to be a very interesting project as well. That keeps me very busy for this year. So when I'm not busy with Destruction, I was writing songs and recording songs with Panzer at the moment. So yeah, there's not so much space for other things than heavy metal in my life, and that's good like this.
Absolutely. Now, Wavar was telling me a few days ago that you guys have plan of heading studio later this year for the new album, probably releasing in summer 2015.
Yes, exactly. We planned for the end of the year, but now I was, as I said, busy with the Panzer
Answer.
project.
Mhm.
So I wanted to finish this first off to before we start recording with Destruction. But I
Right.
think right when we come back from India, we're gonna record the first demos for the
Mhm.
new album, and we're gonna record the album in January 2015, and it's gonna come out in summer. Exactly.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, you've been part of this thrash metal scene from so many decades. Yet we feel that, sometimes we feel a thrash is all said and done, but one has to redesign the wheel. So, how does Destruction manage to redesign the wheel in thrash metal?
I mean, we're trying to do what we love, and I think of course, it's very easy to repeat yourself, but it's up to you, to your own personality, if you're satisfied with that. So we're also on every album, we're still trying to bring in little new stylish stuff that is like maybe not 100% thrash, but that is like also our influence, like stuff from heavy metal roots or stuff from a little bit more progressive.
Right.
So we still keep it interesting. Like, I think when you're listening to a Destruction album, you definitely can hear that all the riffs and ideas are not just like warmed up again. It's a lot of new, fresh stuff in there also, and
Right.
that keeps it interesting for you as a musician, because that's the spice in the soup, is that you gotta love what you do, and if you just repeat yourself, it's boring.
Absolutely.
Of course, we're having a certain style and a certain brand we have created.
Hmm.
So of course we're trying to go not too far away from that, because the fans want thrash metal, they get thrash metal, and you gotta. It's a thin road, a tiny little road. So you have to kind of be aware of what you do. And we've been, I always say when bands turn older, it's very easy to slow down and easy
Right.
to take it easier. But for us, it's the opposite. Like when we're getting older, we're working harder. We want to do still brutal metal albums, and we're not going to turn into a blues rock band. So
Right.
it's a challenge also, because we have to compete with all the young bands nowadays. So that's also a good motivation.
Absolutely, because I was about to ask you that because you've been like involved into music from so many years, and now all these bands who have been appearing in the scene every day, so many bands join the scene. Do you feel, even and as legendary as Destruction the band is, you guys definitely need to put extra effort in order to compete with these young starts?
I mean, if it comes to the physical aspect, it's hard to compete with young lads, because they're young and fresh and they're wild, But we have the great mix of experience, and also we're still a physical, really strong band on stage. Like we're still headbang a lot, move a lot,
Hmm.
and like the biggest compliment that we always get after the show is like, you guys still look so young on stage, so energetic, and I think
Amazing.
that's a very important part of thrash metal, at least, that you keep this alive, and I think we still have that. So we're gonna kick some ass in India and prove that we're still one of the best live acts in this genre.
Wonderful. So is it safe to say that Destruction is a well-oiled German machine?
That's actually this expression. This expression I heard before. Exactly. Yeah.
Wonderful, brother. Now, Day of Reckoning, when you guys released it, I felt that it didn't have the aggression that Destruction album is supposed to have. And then Spiritual Genocide was more aggressive and speedy. So it felt to me that, it's a legacy in Destruction that is every album has to be a classier one.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot make the best album of your career every time, So you always try to write the best album, but best albums come together when there's a lot of little points working together fine, And like for like the end of the 2010s, we have had a drum change, a new
Yes.
drummer in the band. We've also been going back to Nuclear Blast, so we
Right.
had a big change going on. We actually changed our record company, we changed our drummer, and we changed our concert agency,
Mhm.
all in the same year, and that's a lot of pressure on the band. And of course, then sometimes it's maybe more difficult to do the best album.
True.
And I think now that Waber is in the band for
4 years.
almost 5 years, yeah, 4 years and something now. Everything is more confident, like he's playing adjusted much more to the band. You can hear this really well on Spiritual Genocide, that
Right.
his drumming and the band became one. It's also the same thing if you see us live. His playing is very important for the band. He's pushing us really hard. He's such a tight drummer, and that takes time. And I think this is a learning process. Even after 31 years, you still have to go through that. You have to push yourself and always trying to do another better record. So I'm really looking forward to writing new material now, because with Waber as a backup in the band now, everything is going much better than before. And I think the new album gonna be a nice new challenge, and I'm sure it's gonna be be aggressive in your face, and we're not going to step back and be less aggressive, for sure not. It's going to be
Amazing.
hopefully the next. We always try to write the best songs. I think there's always a challenge that some of the songs you write on an album are going to be the new anthems for the next centuries. And that's
Wonderful.
something we're trying to achieve. Thrash songs for eternity.
Perfect. So looks like Mike is busy in his home studio working on some epic thrash metal pieces.
Yeah, he's preparing riffs now at the moment, and when we come back from India, we're going to record the first demos. I have some great ideas written down also,
Hmm.
and then we're going to record the first ideas and work them out with Waber, and yeah, then we will see which direction the record will go. We don't sit down and say this has to be this and that. Music has to be spontaneous.
Absolutely.
It's got to come out of the stomach. You have to feel it, and that's how we always work.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Now, you have such an amazing journey, and a lot of your songs throughout the years have focused on more on the religion point of view, which to me I felt you want to convey that even though we are just moving ahead in our lives, but still religion is one factor which has screwed up most of us. Do you agree with that?
I mean, look at the misery of the world of today. Like almost all the wars and the conflicts we have religious backgrounds.
Hmm.
And of course, religion as a basic thing sounds good to me, but just what human beings make out of it is terror and violence and war,
True.
and that is very scary. And if people want to believe in something, they can. It's not a problem. But as soon as they start to convince others or to kill others because of their beliefs, then it's really sick, because it really goes against the meaning of any religion,
Right.
and that's why religious stuff has always been there for us. And when you're young, you're developing stuff, because we've been like raised really Christian, Catholic, and we're trying to break out of that when we were young. And over the years, you see a lot of countries, you see a lot of cultures, and you learn a lot. And you still see that stuff doesn't change. It even seems to get worse with all the conflicts we have now in the Near and Far East, and it's kind of scary to see this will never change. And if you look at history, basically we didn't learn from the past, because
Right.
it's just continuing.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Now, you have seen it all happening, I mean, for so many decades. But when you look at the current scenario in our industry, I don't think music is helping destruction financially. Not just you, but I would say many other bands.
Yeah, it's of course it's a hard fight to live from the music, where I I'm just a part of the music industry. I cannot change it anymore, because there have been many mistakes that happened back
Mm.
10, 15 years ago. And now people just don't pay for music anymore. And I understand that in some countries it's very difficult, because people don't have so much money.
Right.
So we see it like sporty. We say, in those countries where people don't have the money to buy the record, let's go there and play there.
True.
So then we can make at least a little money there. Also, people don't have that much money, so the fees are not that high. So we don't make so much money on the shows, but it keeps us alive. It keeps us, busy,
Hmm.
and that's always the challenge. I mean, if I would have the money that I deserve, from all the bootlegs and rip-off of the companies and all the free downloads worldwide, I could have an easy life. But then maybe I wouldn't write good music anymore.
Right. That's a very good point.
I always say, name me one millionaire that still writes good, brutal heavy metal.
Absolutely, brother.
Do you
Bang
know one?
on.
Can you name one?
I don't remember. I mean, I can't just figure out, because when it's about money and when it's about music and the way you carry it, probably you know how to do it. I mean, money can be there, cannot be there, but the way you write music honestly, then that's all matters.
But if you don't have any problems anymore, if everything in the life is smooth and soft, why should you scream?
Right.
So I think like you have to be starving still a little bit to make this and play this kind of music. And I can't complain. The band is running well. We will never be rich, but we can live from what we do, what we love, and that's the biggest gift of our being, is like to do what you love.
Absolutely.
It's
Agree.
not the amount. It's not the amount of money that you make. That's what the Americans were trying to tell us, in our philosophies here. Yeah,
Right.
but it's not only about money. So and that's what we're still trying to say with our lyrics and with our music, and hopefully some people still get the message.
That's amazing. Now you have to tell me which was the last album you purchased when you heard the band and you were like, yes, I need the copy of this album.
That's difficult to say. I think there's a lot of good newcomers that you're testing out. So like when I usually find something that I like, I usually call my friends from the labels and say, hey, I listened to this young band, and can you provide me the record? I'm in the lucky position that most of the time I can get the record directly from the record companies.
Amazing.
So and they send me sometimes the record and say, hey, this is our new band. Could you please say 2-3 words about the record and stuff? So I'm basically having a lot of times chance to listen to new bands.
Amazing.
So I don't know, the last band that that I really liked. It sometimes happens live also that you see a good live band. You know?
True, true.
So it's difficult to say which was the last one.
Amazing, no problem. Now we are talking about the legal side of it. Which was the first illegal download Schirmer has done in his life?
Actually, I'm not. I don't do that.
Amazing.
When I listen to music and I want to have the album, I pay for it. I go officially on iTunes or something. I pay for it.
Oh, that's
If
amazing.
YouTube is a different thing, or Facebook just to stream to listen, that's cool. But if I want to have the song, I pay it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's
Well,
difficult. It's difficult with porn though, because for porn music I wouldn't pay. Porn I wouldn't pay.
all right, I
But
agree with
as much
that.
music for me as I'm a musician, I'm paying for that.
Wonderful, Shaiman. I had a great time having a chat with you. You have to tell me a message for your fans who are going to be listening to this interview. A- an amazing message from Shaimer. Go ahead.
My message would be that we're fucking excited to come to India finally after all those years, and I can promise all the fans for the long waiting, you're gonna have a very special set list with a lot of classic songs with a great mix, and we will also give the fans the opportunity to kind of wish some songs. We're gonna come to the part of the show where I'm gonna ask the fans, what songs do you want to hear?
Mhm.
So prepare your wishes for the show, and I can promise you we're gonna give you 100% of satisfaction. Looking
Wow.
forward.